Hey, look, guys, I'm not going to make this video too long. I'm going to get straight to the point here. Redbubble, TeePublic, Society6, Merch by Amazon, essentially all print on demand is really just what? It's catalog income. And forgive me for my terrible handwriting here. I'm using my mouse. I should probably get one of those pen and electrical pads, but just bear with me here. It's catalog income. It's not really passive income. It's not really active income. It's catalog income. And what is catalog income? Catalog income is really the same thing as owning real estate. Real estate is not passive. And it's also not necessarily active. I mean, well, some people consider active if you have one or two properties, which, by the way, I could do a whole comparison video between owning real estate and owning some print-on-demand businesses, or hustles, as we like to call them. By the way, the print-on-demand is better than the real estate, just putting it out there. But it's catalog income. The whole benefit of doing print-on-demand is a drip feed. That's really the whole point. The whole point of having print-on-demand businesses is creating a drip feed of income. Let me break this down for you guys. All right, this is my mentality here. Can I actually refresh this and get this erased? There we go. Awesome. So the way this works is really, really simple, okay? You have these stores. Let's call them houses, all right? And these houses produce income. Now, some could be Redbubble stores. Some could be TeePublic stores. Some could be Merch by Amazon stores. And some of these houses have 2 doors. Some of them have 4 doors. Some of them have 10 doors. Some of them have 30 doors, right? We could even think of them as apartment buildings, whatever you want to call it, right? And some of these houses, aka platforms, because that's really what they are, is they provide more money than others, right? So for example, all right, for me, Society6 is one of my most profitable sites with the least amount of work, right? So imagine this represents Society6, right? Society6 right here. And this represents, let's say, TeePublic. And this represents Merch by Amazon for me. Well, Merch by Amazon, I've been banned for a while now. So let's just erase this $sign and let's imagine it's 0. Okay? So it's 0. Let's say TeePublic, let's say I'm getting half of the, not half, maybe like 2/3. So 2/3 of the income that I'm getting from Society6, right? Let's throw Redbubble in there too, right? We have some income over there. Let's say Redbubble is, for the amount of work, I'm creating more income than Society6, but it's a lot more work, right? So let's say I'm making $3 worth, okay? I take all this money that I'm making here, and I'm not making money on every single door every single day. Excuse me, sorry, my hand hit the mic. I'm not making money on every door every day, but I am making money from each platform or each house every day. And what happens is I get a drip feed. So how does this actually work and how does this look like? And this is why I like the print-on-demand marketplace business, is that I look at these and I say, okay, I created a design, let's just say 4 years ago on Redbubble. Never made me a sale but today. So that's a little money right here. Now that money could be 25 cents, right? If I sell a sticker, it could be a few dollars. If I sell like I don't know, what's a few dollars worth, a cheap t-shirt or something like that. But it could also be a premium hoodie or something of the sort, right? I'm just throwing some different examples out there. You guys know how it is on Redbubble. You have products that make you a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, obviously it's all relative to Redbubble print on demand, but you have higher profits, you have lower profit type items. Stickers are on the low profit side, duvet covers a little bit higher, backpacks are pretty decent, things like that, right? And what happens is I have products that I might have uploaded on certain sites, whether it was me or my virtual assistants, it all comes back to me at the end of the day anyway, because I'm paying them a salary, or really contractor, costs. But the point is that I'm getting sales in a drip feed type format. Every single one of these doors will pay me when their own clock runs out. And I've said this before, but the way I look at it is like this. Okay, if I take the Redbubble platform or the house of Redbubble, For some people listening to this, it might be merch by Amazon, might be TeePublic. Doesn't matter. Etsy even, who cares? The doesn't really matter what we're talking about here. But if I take it and I have, let's say, I don't know, 30,000 designs on the platform, okay? For people on Etsy, you might have 300 products. You might have 100. You might have 50. Whatever it doesn't really matter. I know some people on Etsy who have over 10,000 products on Etsy. The point is that these 30,000, they're not all going to make me money every single day. What happens is one out of these 30,000 will sell once every, let's say, month. I'll have other ones that will sell once every year. Then I'll have, let's say, 15 of them that sell once a week. I'll have 20 that sell once every 4 days. I'll have, etc. And basically what happens is every single one of these doors, aka these products that are listed, are a part of my catalog, right? And the catalog will give me a drip feed of income. And the way I look at it is like this, right? The way I liken it to real estate is kind of like this. Now, this is not the right way to do real estate. I have a whole video on real estate separately. But if you were to go, let's just say, buy an apartment building, and I'm going to try to draw one here as I speak for your entertainment. But let's say this apartment building has 36 doors to it, right? So these are like the little windows. And we got the first floor, we got the second floor, the third floor, etc. And we got the little doors here, right, on each one. And as you can see, I'm drawing it terribly, but you get the point, right? What happens is each of these doors have a value. And if I was to purchase this apartment building in a lump sum cost, which nobody in real estate really does that would be foolish. But let's just say if I was to do this and I pay it full price, these will now cash flow for me. The way I look at print on demand is the same way. I look at print on demand like this. I say, okay, I am trying to build up a building, metaphorically speaking, and that building is going to cost me, let's say, 50,000 uploads. And that 50,000 uploads, let's just say through estimation, is going to make me, let's say, $25,000 every, let's throw a number out there, every quarter, let's say, okay? As an example, all right? Which comes out to roughly 100,000 a year, okay? So I say, okay, if this is my goal, is to make 100,000, how fast can I get to this 50,000? Because at this point now, it's just a matter of effort and energy and work. And instead of me buying the 50,000, I can build it, I can buy it, or I could do both, right? I have to figure out how can I get to this number as fast as I possibly can, as safe as I possibly can. One of the things that you guys heard me recommend before is diversifying. It's probably the number one biggest piece of advice I've ever gave anybody, and probably the most useful on this whole entire YouTube channel, which is diversification. If you have a t-shirt design, right? And I'll try to draw a picture of a t-shirt here once again for your guys' entertainment. As you could tell, I'm not an artist, but let's say you have a t-shirt design. This t-shirt design can go on 5, 6, 10 different platforms and make you money slowly. It doesn't have to bring in a lot of money. This is why I told you guys before, it connects into my whole ethos of creating the buyable design. If you've seen some of my courses on Redbubble, and I'll just whip them out here as we speak, the Redbubble tag course, which is really an SEO course that teaches you titling, tagging, etc., the design course, we went over this concept of what a buyable design is. A buyable design is simply just a design that is good enough quality to be purchased. It doesn't have to be the absolute best in the marketplace. It just has to be good enough to where somebody will look at it and say, you know what, I like this, I'll buy it, right? It doesn't have to be good enough, it doesn't have to be the best, but it does have to be good enough. It can't be bad, pretty much, right? And when I'm creating these buyable designs, this connects into my whole ethos, like I said, of the idea that I'm getting a drip campaign of income. Why is that? Why am I creating essentially a drip campaign? Because I know for a fact that I can't beat everyone in the industry. Why? Because there's something that exists called the algorithm, and the algorithm controls where each of my assets, aka my doors, rank in the algorithm. When I look at it that way, I say, okay, I know then at this point I'm going to have to play a quantity game. Now, for all the people who are listening who are against what I say when I say quantity, I've dispelled this maybe 1,000 times back like 3 years ago when I actually used to make videos on this kind of stuff. And I make it very clear. Obviously, quality matters, so does quantity. The more you do, the more results you're stacking. A lot of the times, print on demand for most people is going to be a quantity game, not just a quality. And once again, when I say quantity, I'm not ruling out every other marker of success. There's a lot of different things that can make you successful, not just quantity. If I create millions of designs that are all ugly, well, then that doesn't help me, of course. So quality does matter. There's a lot of things that matter, but let's just say quantity, right? If I'm focusing now on quantity, right, and obviously I'm bringing quality and doing all the other preliminary activities or the preliminary, requirements, then all I'm focused on is a number at that point. The more I create, the bigger chance that I have to get to that end goal of the drip. Now, if you guys remember some of my past videos when I mentioned goals, what are the one thing that I've always kind of harped on and I always kind of said is that you never look to the actual end goal. You never look at the number. You look at your action and you measure your action based on your success. So, for example, if I know that I want to make 100K a year passive on Redbubble, for example, all I have to do is I have to figure out what are the actions that get me to 100K. Now, my goal is not 100K. We're past that. I'm saying if it is, this is an example, if my goal is to make 100K on Redbubble, for instance, it doesn't have to be. It could be, for some people, it's merch by Amazon. It might be 500,000. For some people, it might be 100,000, whatever the number is. The point is, we're just simply using examples. If this is my goal, I say, okay, then let's say, for example, that is 50,000 designs. And those 50,000 designs need time to mature, let's just say 6 to 8 months. And so that means they have to exist in the marketplace for, let's just say, 1 year. And we're giving more than enough time here. So that means I would really need a full year beforehand to actually get this done, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, depending on my speed, right? But the point is, I would look at this 50K. I would not look at the 100 as the goal. Because at the end of the day, I can't really control for the 100. And my point of view might say, okay, I'm doing better or worse than what this 100 needs. Let me give you an example. I might say, okay, I'm doing so good work, I think all I need to do is another year of work, and I'll get to the 100, as an example. But I might be wrong. I might be overestimating my skills, my efforts, the competition. There's so many things that could, like I said, go wrong and throw a wrench in your system or be a speed bump in the road. So instead of looking at the number, which is literally what 99% of the people do, is they focus on their numbers when they set the goals, you got to look at the action. What is the action that will take you there? So, for example, if I say to myself, I want to buy a Lamborghini, right? And that Lamborghini costs 500,000, 500K. I'm not going to sit there and say, my goal is to buy a Lamborghini. I'm going to say, okay, what are the actions that will allow me to create an extra 500K, or in this case, probably $1 million, because I have to pay taxes on that $1 million, then buy the Lamborghini. So I'll say, what are the actions that I have to do to create the 1 million? And so whatever the actions are, then I focus on the actions. And am I creating or working on those actions? I don't focus on the result. If you focus on the result, you're going to get disconnected from the actual job that's needed to be done. And then inevitably, like 99% this happens to most people, you're going to end up procrastinating. When you end up procrastinating, you're decreasing speed and efficiency. Speed and efficiency go downward. This creates a huge problem, especially in our business, guys. And really, it doesn't matter what business you're in. Doesn't matter if you're on the fulfillment side of businesses. It doesn't matter if you're in the blogging business. Doesn't matter if you're in the content creation business. Doesn't matter if you're print on demand. It doesn't matter even freelancing. It does not matter what business you're in. Speed and efficiency are the most important things that you have to optimize for in any business. If speed and efficiency go down, everything else goes down with it. And why do they go down? They go down because of procrastination. Why do people procrastinate? Because they focus on the wrong side of the goal. When they focus on the wrong side of the goal, they feel discouraged. They feel like they can't make it. They're not going to work as hard. So what I say here is I picture my life and I say, okay, I want a drip feed from this income source. I want every day to be generating, and I'm just throwing random numbers out here. Let's say $1,200 a month a day from print on demand. If this is the case, I say, okay, what are the things that can get me to this level? Well, I have Redbubble. I have TeePublic. For some people, it's Merch by Amazon. We have Zazzle. We have Society6. We have all these different platforms, right? We list them out. We say, okay, what can we do on each platform, and how much work would it take us to get here? What would the numbers look like? And then we focus on the work. We don't focus on the number because, once again, there are things that can change. And this $1,200 could be different for everybody. It could be $5 a day for some people. It could be $10 a day. It could be $2. It doesn't matter. The number is irrelevant, right? The number does not matter. Everybody has a different path. Everyone has a different journey. And frankly, everyone has a different life. So your numbers and my numbers doesn't really make a difference. But you look at this and you say, okay, I want a drip feed. The whole thing about print on demand that makes it pretty, honestly, a good business is it's not nearly as difficult as other businesses, in my opinion, but it's practically easy. Like, you don't have to do any rocket science. You don't have to decompile or compile algorithms. You don't have to do calculus. You don't have to break your back lifting boxes to get the job done. It's all just systems and operations, which is an AKA, or a also known as, speed and efficiency. That's really all it comes down to. So a lot of the times I hear like people outside of business, when you talk to people who are not in the business world and you talk to them about how successful you are or whatever, they'll say, when is enough enough? Why are you doing all this work? For what? Well, nobody sits there and says, I've done enough work, I'm just going to stop. In the business world, that really doesn't happen. Like, if Michael Jordan is up by 40 and he's winning, he doesn't just stop scoring and say, I'm just done. I'm done winning, That really doesn't actually happen. And the same thing for us is that if we're working on print on demand, right? If you made, let's say, and you're brand new and you made your first $10 on the platform, you're not going to just sit there and say, I made my money, I'm done, I'm walking away, I'm satisfied. That never happens. We keep pushing. But anyways, creating that drip feed for me was the ultimate goal, creating money each on a daily basis. And like I said, the only way that works is through quantity. A lot of times, this is a good paradigm shift for the people that are watching, listening to this, is a better, I guess you could say, bird's eye view type video than a lot of the tutorial type videos that I made before. So if we go to my channel right now and we look up autopilot passive income and we look at the channel here, a lot of these are like tutorial type stuff, like the taxes tutorial video where I explain like, let this line, this number, this is how you deduct it, etc. How to make patterns, how to make 1,000 stickers on ideogram. A lot of those things are tutorial. Those things help speed and efficiency. But there's a psychological, adrenal side to things. And when I say adrenal, I mean like your adrenal glands. Like, you literally burn out sometimes. Hormones, things like that. People get tired. You know what I'm saying? We all have our tired days. My point is that we need to, at least in my point of view, have a balance between the tutorial side of things and the the bird's eye view perspective, Looking at why are we actually doing this? Why are we accomplishing this? Where are we headed to? What's the reason we're doing this, and where do we want to end up? A lot of the times not knowing where you want to end up creates frustration. For me, like I said, the way I look at print on demand is it's nothing more than just an alternative to, for example, real estate, relatively consistent income. And I could just talk about real estate for 2 seconds here. I want to pull up actually, forget it. I was going to pull up a whiteboard, but whatever. Real estate is not a source of income. I know a lot of people think it is. It's not. People who are rich do not use real estate to make money. That's not true. In fact, this the farthest thing from the truth. People who are rich use real estate to save or protect their money because they can use it as tax incentive. Basically, you're protecting your money through taxes with real estate. Now, everybody who's listening to this probably has the uncle or the aunt or the family member who's been in real estate for 40 years and made some money. That's not creating wealth. Somebody can take that amount of money and make it in a year in business. Real wealth is created in a business, not created in real estate. Real estate protects the wealth of the rich. So, for example, if I'm a politician and I'm getting all kinds of donations, it's either I'm going to have to pay over 50% tax on those donations, or I just throw them into real estate. And the real estate offsets the costs in a fully legal manner. That's the whole point about real estate. Now, like I said, I could make a whole video on why print on demand actually beats real estate. In fact, most assets don't even generate that much of a profit to be worth the time. Once again, it's just a protection mechanism. But I look at it like virtual real estate as an ownership that creates, once again, the drip feed. See, a lot of the people who follow, for example, Grant Cardone, what does Grant Cardone always talk about to get people to invest in his funds? He'll talk about and he'll say things like, I have X amount of, tens of thousands of investors, and we're sending out checks every single month. Those checks are really not worth the initial investment if you think about it. Like, if you're going to invest, let's say you're probably going to get about 4% back. 4%. So imagine you put in 300,000 times 0.04. 4% is 12,000. That's divided by 12. You're roughly, let's just say you put in 300,000, you're making $1,000 a month. In what universe is that a good investment? It's not. Now, some people are going to sit here and say, well, the appreciation. Well, the appreciation doesn't matter because you're going to pay capital gains tax. Appreciation is not part of the game. The whole part of real estate, and once again, I should probably make a separate video on this, is the refinance game, which, once again, we're not going to get too into this because this is a separate video. But the point is that you're really not making much money. Somebody can sit there and start a business and make $4 million in 1 year. You could buy with $4 million, $16 million in real estate. That becomes a completely different business then at that point. I will make a different video on it just for people to learn. But where was I getting to? The point is the drip feed. That this is why. This is the whole point, guys, behind the benefits of print on demand. Sometimes if you remind yourself about these benefits, you're going to start working on it more. A lot of people have problems with consistency in business. Not even just business, but let's just take print on demand, our field. They have problems with consistency on the work on a daily basis. Why? It's because they're not reminding themselves either of the goal, B, they're suffering from procrastination because they're, overwhelmed, or C, they just lack belief, which if you lack belief, there's nothing you could do for someone who lacks belief. I mean, they just got to move on to something else. But those are really the three main things. One of the most powerful things, like I said, is put that shiny carrot in front of yourself. Remind yourself of why you're actually doing this. Look at it from a bird's eye point of view, like we said earlier. Hopefully this rant can somewhat inspire you to look at things in a different way. Try new approaches, keep uploading. Even if you're not getting paid the way you want to now, those designs will pay off in the long term. And if they don't pay off monetarily, at least you're gaining and learning experience. Obviously, don't upload like a zombie and just mindlessly press buttons. Think about every single thing you're doing, right? Those are things you want to think about. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video was informative. I'll talk to you guys soon. These are just some of the things on my mind. And once again, thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.